Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios, Mythic Legions, Legacies of Mythoss, Otho. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, Otho, and it's got, I don't know, some kind of stain on there, red liquid stain. And we've got Four Horsemen logo right there, little piece of tape. Moving around to the front, that, background continues till it gets down to here. Legacy of Mythoss, like a volcano throwing up. Nice big window showcasing the majority of the figure and accessories. Mythic Legions, Legacies of Mythoss, Otho. On the bottom, words and stuff, URLs to visit, UPCs, Four Horsemen. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole. If they don't belong there, don't give it to babies. To see the entire collection, please visit mythiclegions.com. If you haven't, do it. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will. Four Horsemen on this side, and then we've got a castle and some, I don't know what else going on. The army of Leodicius. And then on this side, we've got Mythic Legions, Legacies of Mythoss. Nice product shot of Otho in an action pose. URLs to visit. On the back side, we've got some nice artwork of Otho. Also of Urzokk. And the Order of Etherion flag. And Necronominus's faction flag and Otho, and there's this little bio if you want to read that. Pause it right here and read away. And moving right along, here's all kinds of credits down here, and again, if you want to pause it right there and read all that stuff, please feel free to do so. And then moving right along, more lava looking stuff there. And again, see the entire collection, please visit mythiclegions.com. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at some of the smaller accessories. And we'll start with the extra hands. And as you can see, he's kind of got the splayed out grasping hands on the figure. So he does come with two sets of grip hands. And they're pretty much the same except for the hinging. So this set is on in and out hinges. And you can see it's got that nice silver paint to it. Very chromy, very shiny. And, it's a piece we've seen in the line a lot. It has nice molded details on it, and it looks like what it's supposed to be, which is an armored hand. And then here's the other side, and again, everything I said about the previous one holds true, and pretty much the same about these, except the hinging on these are up and down, but same grip, same paint, pretty much the same sculpt. So very cool looking. And let's see, this part is swap out for the shield. The center of the shield here that has a line on it, but you can swap it out. If you're making this a different character, you can swap it out and put this on it so that it's not Otho. And then here we have the standard, what I like to call the standard Mythic Legion's shield handle. It's got some nice molded details here on the handle part that makes it look like it's grippy, and you know it is for the figure. The 90-degree bar up here and a port in it, and we'll get to how that works in a moment. And let's see, I think we might be done with the tweezers. So he gets 2 pieces of shoulder armor, a left and a right. And again, we've seen this with knights and gladiators and other people throughout the line. Silver, it's got some gold trim on it, some gold rivets, this gold flowery decoration right here with a silver button in the middle, and gold banding there. So, you know, it's a nice piece for this guy, seeing as how he's a knight. This one is the same, only for the other side, and I forgot to mention on the other one how the banding, you know, you can see it right there. So that's cool. Next up, we'll take a look at the shield, and this one has that nice lion centerpiece in it, and it's gold, and there doesn't appear to be any wash on it. There's shadows on it from the light, so there is that, but a nice chromy silver, and then gold trim on the outside for the rivets, and then this inside piece, and then it's all silver on the inside. It's got the post right here for the handle, and then it's got these 2 brackets that will only allow him to hold it in certain positions. So that's a thing now. But very nice looking piece, and as you can see, the handle just ports right on there. Now let's take a look at his weapons. So he's got this nice battle axe, and it's trimmed out in gold and blue. At least it looks blue to me. I'm colorblind. Don't make fun of handicapped people. And it's just very nice and intricate design there in the blade. And then we've got some textural details here in the handle pieces and in the, I guess it's a pommel. It's a pommel on a sword. I'm not sure what it's called here. And then this gold banding and the blue and the blue, and then the gold rivets, and then the gold outline and the blue, and that, again, that nice chromy, shiny kind of metallic silver paint. So very cool looking axe piece. So next up we have his sword in the scabbard, and again I like the colors on the scabbard. It matches up with the figure. It matches up with the handle of the sword, and it's got these gold trim around the top and at the butt, and then the clip, and so it's very nice looking. And then the sword does remove from the sheath, and again it's got that very nice metallic-y silver on the blade and the cross guard or hand guard, and then on the pommel as well with the cross in there, and then the nice blue on the handle with some textural details in there. And of course, like I've said before, this isn't a new piece, and you know the scabbard is made to fit a bunch of different swords, so it doesn't actually go and fit all the way like you would think it should. But that's, you know, that's, again, that's not a new thing, because that's not a new, those 2 pieces aren't new. This one, however, I think is new. The scabbard might not be new, and the sword might be made to hold it, or it might be slightly retooled from another sword. But we'll remove the sword and we'll take a look at the scabbard. So it's got this nice blue here, and then the blue from the majority of the scabbard, gold at the top, gold banding, and then gold at the bottom with another, is it blue or silver? Yeah, silver dots at the bottom. So, very cool looking piece. And there's no clip on this one, so it has to fit just in the belt loops. And then here is the sword again, that nice metallic silver for the blade and the handguard. It's got a little pop of blue right there, and then the blue in the handle. Nice textural details you can see in there for the handle, and then it's got gold and silver banding throughout the handle there, gold at the end here with some silver banding, and then the pommel is this very cool lion head. So very, very neat. But this is a separate piece that was glued on. I hope it does better than, Lord, who was the other guy? I don't remember. There's another guy who has a similar sword. It's the sword of Etherion, and it had the bird head on the end, but it liked to break off a lot. So I hope this one is more sturdy than that. In fact, this may be that sword and scabbard, just with the different pommel on it. May be. I'm not saying that is it for sure. So he does come with two alternate heads. So there's this armored head, and the shield here does lift up, and you can see it has no face in it. So you can take the face out of the helmet on the figure and put it on this one, and how you do that is you pull this piece of the helmet off, and I say that like it's an easy thing to do, and for most people it might. You can kind of, well, you can't really see. There we go. Handy dandy tweezers to the rescue. So you can see there's two ports up there, and there's two posts on this piece. So you would pull this out, and you put the faceplate in, which has there's two ports to receive a faceplate, and they have corresponding posts on it. So you would put the face in there, and then you put this back on, and you know, you can use other faces that have come with other figures in here as well, like the skeleton ones will go in here as well. This piece is a bit softer than the other stuff, so something just to be aware of. Not really, it's not I'm not saying it's an issue, it's just something to be aware of. And then, you know, it closes back down. Or you could just make him a ghost and put no face in there, but then if you get a shot where it sees inside there, it might look a little funky with the pegs or the portholes. So there's that. Here is the unarmored head, and I have to say I like the sculpt and the coloring on this. I think the hair looks nice. It looks like it's got probably a bit of a dry brush in it. The beard as well, perhaps. The hair more than the beard, probably. But I think they did really good on the paint apps on this, and it looks nice. You can see he's got a leather strap here to hold his hair together. But oh my God, where's his hair? It actually has a swappable piece between the head that's on the figure and this head, so that they didn't have to include extra plastic, I suppose. But so there's that. It's, you know, I like that one. I think I actually might, even though I like the helmet on this one, I might end up putting the unhelmeted head on it. I don't know yet. So let's take a look at the figure, and here's the removable hairpiece, and you can see it's a bit of an odd design for a helmet. It protects like from the front, but if an archer gets behind you, it's, you know, I don't know. Wouldn't be my choice for a helmet design, but it is what it is. Just like the previous helmet, this piece will pull off and you can remove the faceplate and swap them out and stuff. It does have, you know, the helmet does go down on this. And I have to say, that looks really cool that it's a lion's head. I really, really like that. It's cool as hell. And then you look under there and that very stoic warrior's face under there. And it's got, you know, bits of gold here and there on the rivets. So it's a very, very nice looking piece. So here on this piece, which is removable as well, you've got that nice metallic silver and then the gold filigree, I guess. And you'll see gold banding and stuff, coloration throughout this figure. Hope this is just colored gold and it's not chainmail made of gold. That would be not great. And, you know, paint for the buckles and just, you know, basically what you expect from the Four Horsemen as far as deco and design and stuff goes. And I like the gold trim on the edges of the blue. I think it looks really nice together. And we've got painted buckles, bits and bobs. And you know, it goes around on the back too. Not like some companies, they make sure the back gets attention as well. And all the little details. But you also pay for all those little details, so you know, it's a trade-off one way or the other. So let's talk about his articulation real quick. So the helmet visor moves up and down. The head is on the newer hinge and swivel, or hinge and ball, that they're starting to roll out. He did not have the standard neck though, so there is that. I forgot to mention he's got these two belts up here, and again they are decoed appropriately for this figure in this line. So very, very cool. The ports for the shoulder armor. So we're talking about his articulation. So it's a hinge and ball there. He can look up that high. The hair does get in the way a bit. He can, let's see. That dang neck piece don't want to tilt. So we may have to come back to that one. Or not. I may. Yeah, apparently I'm going to have to heat that up. Alright, so I got it loosened up now, I think. And it does feel like it's got some detents going on in there. So, there's that. So back to this. We can look up that high and the hair does get in the way. And he can look down that low, although it looks really weird, doesn't it? What are you doing down there, boy? And then, of course, he can do the full exorcist. Now, when you set the neck up, or the ball up all the way, it does seem a little high. So you can move it back a little bit, and that makes the look of it a little better. And he can still do the full exorcist that way as well. Although, you do have to wobble it a little bit to get it around. And speaking of wobble, he does have some waggle, and he's got some neck pop off, chicken neck, so he doesn't chicken neck so well. but he can do it. But I'm not going to force it right now. So at the shoulder, 360 degrees of rotation. He can raise his arm up that high, which is, well, let's see if I can get a little more. Yeah, I did get a little more, but still not quite 90 degrees. He does have a single hinge and swivel at the elbow. Did I say his arm goes 360? If I didn't, I did now. So he does have single hinge and swivel at the elbow. The armor piece does get in the way a little bit. You can force it on around if you want. And then the gauntlet is a rotation because it's a separate piece. And then the wrist rotates 360 degrees as well. And these grasping, clawing kind of hands, they're on in and out hinge and in and out on this side as well. So at the waist, there's a half dumbbell or ball joint, whatever you want to call it. Gives him plenty of hula. Gives him 360 degrees of rotation. He can lean left and right. He leans back that far and crunches forward that far. So about standard for Mythic Legions. At the hips, there is no pull down. But that's okay, because he still gives you the full splits with maybe a little bit of plus. He does kick forward that far. And I forgot to mention earlier, the soft goods, at least the lower parts of the soft goods, are wired for posability. So that is a thing, my friends. And then he can kick back that far. Now where the hip piece comes out to this joint, and then anyway, it's a separate piece right here for the upper bicep, and at that cut it does rotate 360 degrees. The knee is a single hinge and swivel. It swivels around 360 degrees and gives you a bit better than 90 degrees worth of bend. At the ankle, rotates around 360 degrees, and then it tilts down that far, and it tilts up that far, and it does have a pin for rocker. Now I'm going to get him all geared up, and we'll be right back. Alright, my friends, here we go. I have him all kitted up, at least the way I would like for him to be kitted up. I did move this belt. It was under this one, so I just moved it to the other side, since it's basically just decoration and not there for anything else. I put the broadsword through here, and the quick draw sword, I guess is what you call it. No, the standard sword is here because, you know, he can get to it quicker. And then of course he's holding this battle axe, but you could swap these things around however you would like. You could put both swords on one side if you wanted to. I don't particularly like the way that looks. It's a little too bulky for me, but your mileage may vary on that. So there we have it, my friends. Otho, all ready for combat. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Otho with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk, the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Sir Valgard, and the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Scaphoid. Here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Otho with Harbinger Studios Savage Crucible Human, Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Red Sonja, X-Ray Studios Combatants Fight for Glory Gold Hilder, and Mattel's Masters of the Universe Chronicles Inaugural Edition Scare Glow. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Otho, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final ramblings on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Otho, I have to say this is a really excellent looking figure. It's everything that you would want from a Mythic Legions figure. Excellent paint, a named character, wired soft goods, swappable heads for different looks and even different people, and just overall a fabulous thing. Now I know I've said recently on the range of motion, why are they still using single hinge and swivel stuff? Because it kind of limits the articulation. I've said in the past, it's armored guys, they don't get that full range of motion like you would without the armor. But the most important reason, the reason I forget, is because I don't do this a lot, but it's the pop and swap feature, which is one of the main features of this line. And I don't think of it often because it's not something that I do. I don't buy a character and just pull it apart and make it a whole nother thing, But I know that there are people out there who do like to do that. And so I do apologize, if that offended somebody when I said that, a $50+ figure should have better range. And I still stand by that. I do think that for the most part, for what we're paying for the figure, we should be getting better range of motion. But again, I understand that due to the pop and swap nature of Four Horsemen lines like Cosmic and Mythic Legions, that is right now a necessary thing. Maybe they can make separate elbow joints in the future. Elbow joints. I don't know why that messed up coming out of my mouth, but it did. So like a separate elbow joint, I don't know. I'm not a toy engineer, so I don't know how all that works. I'm just a collector who apparently likes to complain, although I try not to do that too much. Only when necessary. Because I want to give you guys a real look at the figure. And again, that's another reason I changed this to rambling. Not just because I ramble on, but because, it's all my opinion at this point. And your mileage may vary. So there is that. But I do like this guy. I like the look of him. The helmet is really cool, but I think I may swap it out for the unhelmeted head. I think that one probably fits this guy better. But I don't know. That helmet is really cool. So great Mythic Legions figure. If you were on the fence on picking this one up, you've probably missed out at this point. But if you happen to find it out there for retail, I think, if you're interested in fantasy lines or you just want to see what like some of the best stuff from Four Horsemen is about, this figure kind of fits those criteria. So if you find it for retail or close to retail and you missed on it at retail, then, you know, give it a consideration, or look at another figure that you can pre-order if you're really interested in the line. I know some places have some of the older figures that were still in stock hanging around and stuff on sale. So I think Four Horsemen or Store Horsemen has the Shadow Orc still, I think, for $27, I think, as of this recording. He could be sold out by now, though. That's probably about the least expensive figure I can think of at retail. But if that doesn't suit you, they have some also at the $37, and some other places like Big Bad Toy Store and Urzokk also have some at $37. So again, if it's something you're just wanting to look at and you're not wanting to put a whole lot of money into it, there are some options out there. But if you're, you know, wanting to go for something that's top of the line, I consider this figure to be one of those. He has the top deco, the wired soft goods, and, you know, everything else that he comes with. You can make two different looks for him, or if you have an extra faceplate sitting around somewhere, you know, you can make another guy for him too, or a different character. Or you can just pop and swap all his pieces, which again, that's not something I normally do, so I forget that is one of the main selling points for this line when it originated, was the customizing nature of it. And so I do forget about that sometimes, but that is a feature, even if I don't often talk about it. Well, I've rambled on long enough, my friends. That does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.